Good morning. Well, it's 10 o'clock, which is time to start our Heifer show. So let me start with a few introductions. I want to welcome you first to our 2024 Burleson County Fair Heifer show. We appreciate y'all coming out today to support the youth of Burleson County. And I know the kids have worked hard with their projects and stuff, and so this is a great way for them to be able to showcase their cattle that they've been working hard on. Let me start by introducing my committee. I know some of them are not able to be here today because they're working with their own projects and stuff. Steers or heifers, I mean. For our Heifer's chairman, we have Keith Howe. He's the director, he's the chairman of our junior heifer division. I'm Joni Urbanowski. I'm director over the division. And then we have committee members, Chad Lewis, Cody Zeese, Jason Urbanowski, Jaylyn Urbanowski, Jeff Baldwin, and Crystal Baldwin. And then today I was able to recruit a few more additions to our committee, I think, hopefully. So bear with us as we work together to try and get the cattle shown and stuff and have a good show for the kids. And then we couldn't do any of our shows without the great help of our ag advisors, our ag extension agents and ag advisors that work with the kids year-round. They put a lot of work and effort into working with the kids, not just with projects, cattle-wise or other species, but with all kinds of different events and stuff. So let's definitely give a big round of applause to our extension agents and ag advisors. Thank y'all. All right, once we get started with the show, I'll give an introduction to the judge here in a little bit, but I think we're ready to get started, get the show on the road so that we can see what we've got. So we'll start with our beef masters for our first class. Today we have Mr. Wade Shackelford judging our heifer show for us. Wade and his wife operate Shackelford Cattle Company in Gunner, Texas. He's a former agricultural science teacher at Prosper ISD. He's judged numerous county, regional, and state fair steer and heifer shows in over 10 states. Wade's also an alumni of Tarleton State and achieved his master's from Southeastern Oklahoma State University in Durant, Oklahoma. Let's give our judge, Wade Shackelford, a round of applause, please.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be back with you guys down this part of the state again and work through your heifer show. I know we don't have a tremendous amount of numbers today, but we'll give each one of these kids just time in the ring and work through their classes and end up with the eventual champions here as we move on through the show. Not that we're stalling, giving them more time, anything like that in this first class. First class is just that presents some challenges for me. Not that these are not high quality individuals, because both of them are, but they're from both ends of the spectrum. And so there's not really anything alike in these two heifers that we have here, except for both of them are females. And so comparison one to the other and trying to put a combination heifer together is a little bit of a challenge in this class. I wish we had that third heifer to compare to make a pair fit together, that sort of thing, but we don't. And so we talk about these and just what they are, what they are. The young lady here with this brockle-faced heifer, I like a lot of things about this heifer. I like her length of body. I like her length up through her front 1/3. I think she attaches her neck set just a skosh higher into her skeleton in relation to our stouter featured female that stands there behind her. I think this female is ultra feminine through her face and her head. I really like how clean she is right there at her jawline, her throat latch, and down to her chest floor in relation to our heifer that's second. She's a good-bodied kind of heifer, and I appreciate that about this female. Got enough power to her when you talk about some shape and width and some squareness in her hip. I think where you fix her is, and if you can take the heifer that's going to be 2 in class today, the more predominantly fawn or red-colored one, if you will, is that you stouten her up in her features. I don't see her having quite as heavy a foot, don't have quite as much bone in this female as what we have in our heifer that's going to come 2 in class, and that's where I prefer this heifer that does come 2 in class. You study her at the ground, at the surface. She's a bigger-footed, more rugged bone female, and for this breed of Beefmasters, I guess they're known for their ruggedness, their bone, and foot size, that sort of thing. She's more indicative of what these females, you would think these females would look like. I do like this one's body shape. I like her length to depth proportion, and I think she fits together just a little bit better in that regard. She's not as feminine up to her front. She's not near as refined about her face or head. She isn't quite as defined in her jawline, and her throat latch is what this heifer is that stands immediately in front of her. That's a toss-up pair. I'm not going to argue with you. Either way, you want to change that placing. You like the young lady that's trying to circle right here better than you do the younger young lady here. I assume she's younger. That's fine with me. I'm not going to argue with you. I think both of these are excellent pair of heifers. It's just a matter of personal preference today. Just a little bit longer, a little bit trimmer, a little neater, a little more feminine look in this female versus one that's just a skosh powerful, sets her neck a little more to the center part of her skeleton. Give these two young ladies a nice hand. Good way to start your show.
First place goes to Taylor Schmeller, and second place goes to Briley Schmeller.
Well, these two young ladies go back, reload, and come back to the show ring, and it doesn't make the decision any easier when you get into this class here because, again, a lot of differences in this pair of heifers here, and again, depends on where you want to land your similarities and your preferences at in the class. I'll be the first one to tell you that I am, when I judge shows, I'm a sucker for cattle at the ground. I like feet. I like bone in them. I like for cattle to have good looks about them. I like body in them, that sort of thing. Now, with all that said, the heifer that is the frailest in her skeletal makeup is the young lady straight away from me here to my right side is what I'm talking about. She's going to win the class, and I would like to stouten her up. She's not as heavy featured as what the darker red female is that stands immediately behind her. But again, I think once you take these females, it's a toss-up in the front thirds. I think maybe a shot more feminine-faced and headed is the one to my right here. But I think it's a toss-up as far as their length of neck, the set of their neck, that sort of thing, their silhouette from the side view profile. As you start at their shoulder and you work back, I think there's just more animal there. You look at her in her heart, you look at her down into her chest floor, you study her chest floor to her navel, back to her flank there. That's just a good, uniform, solid made female in terms of rib shape, depth, spring to her rib, just a nice kind of heifer in that regard. I think she probably is, and you get in behind these two, she is probably the most powerful of that pair. There's no doubt in my mind. She turns her rib shape up high just a skosh better than what our red female does that's going to come second. Now, where the advantage the red female has, again, is at the surface. I do like her foot. I like her bones just a shot better. She's not quite as good in terms of her body. She's not as long and from shoulder to hip. She doesn't have quite that arcing rib out the top side of her spine there. She doesn't turn quite as much shape. You get right in behind her. But that's a good pair of heifers there. Toss up, if you want to say, up through the front thirds. Neither one of them are the most attractive heifers that we'll probably see today. But I think they're both very high quality kind of heifers, no doubt. Very sound in their skeletal makeup. Like them both. Give them a nice hand. This one will be one, that one will be two. Congratulations.
Results for your Class 2 Beefmaster. First place, Briley Schmeller, and second, Taylor Schmeller.
I also want to recognize our photographers and videographers. If you know of anyone that's wanting to watch the show today, Jeffrey's Livestock Marketing is live streaming on their YouTube channel and Facebook. So you can go to www.jeffreyslivestockmarketing.com and be able to watch the show. And then after the show's over with, they'll also have some great pictures and stuff on there for you to purchase.
He's got a nice single entry here, long yearling female that's really sound in her skeletal makeup, extended up to her front. Maybe not quite as heavily conditioned or show ring ready in terms of condition, if you will, of some of the heifers we've seen thus far, but a nice made female, has a nice pattern about her and sound on her feet and legs. Give her a nice hand.
Your results for Class 3 Beefmaster, first place, Macelyn Smith.
Well, a big-bodied, nice, balanced female that single entry in class here. She's got good spread and shape down her top, really neat up to her front. And for an older female, like a lot of things about this one here, she's a nice kind of heifer, can stand some competition in class. Give him a nice hand.
Results for Class 4 Beefmaster, first place, Kesley Cannon.
Well, as I said earlier, they can be really stout featured in this breed, and this one is stout. She's big footed, she's big bone. From there, she's really rugged made. She's not the most attractive heifer we've seen in there thus far. She's not the biggest in her kind, but I think what she is she's just really stout. She's really powerful, sound on her feet and legs. Maybe fix her a tad in her pasterns there. Good foot trimming would probably do her good, but we're going to make a cow out of her. Don't know that we need to go to trimming on her feet a lot, but she is a little longer toed at this stage for a show heifer, and maybe think about those things. Maybe that would stouten her up a little bit if we're not too far gone there in her pasturing, because she does set her heel down really, really deep at this stage.
Results for your Class 5 Beefmaster, Marley Kasurik.
I want to also thank our junior breeding heifer show premium sponsors. Without these sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do all that we do with great prizes for the kids. Mr. Joe Baldwin, Citizen State Bank, Gooseneck Trailer Manufacturing Company, Strickland Funeral Homes, Producers Cooperative, Washington County Animal Clinic, Weaver's Refrigeration, and Miss Lillian Sankovic Income Tax and Bookkeeping Services. Now entering the ring, we'll have all of our breed champions, as Mr. Shackelford decides on champion for this Beefmaster breed.
Well, as we get back to the champion lineup for Beefmaster breed here, we got some nice heifers to pick our champion from. No doubt the heifer that is the prettiest and most attractive in the lineup is the one out of the youngest class, and that goes along with being the baby of the class and still having that baby girl look and that sort of thing. But she is a nice heifer. She's long and extended up through her front. She's sound on her feet and legs. Good-bodied kind of female. Beat a really stout-featured kind of female in that class, the way we started off the show. And that was a tough way to start off in that pair of heifers there. And you flip a coin on whichever one you like the best of that pair. Move into the next class. The young lady that had second in the first class brings in a nice heifer. From her shoulders back, I really like her. I like a lot of things about this female, her length of body, to depth of body, the roundness of her rib, very proportional, sets her tail head in there to close her spine, really needed to get the backside of her hip there where it's supposed to be. She's got a nice, good underline as well. If you study her from her chest floor to her navel and back into her rear flank, just a good heifer from that regard. Maybe extend her a tad up to her front. Like we said, the heifer that stands immediately in front of her, she is a little more attractively built up to her front. And so maybe not quite as attractive in her face and head, but that's a powerful maid heifer out of class 2. Black female that comes next in the line, really really a feminine made female, sound on her feet and legs, and you ask her to get out and move. Of the heifers in the lineup here, she's probably the greenest in terms of her condition. She comes to the show ring, maybe not quite as show ring savvy or ready in regards to condition, but a nice female from a standpoint of being sound in her skeleton, having some look up through her front third. Young man's heifer that comes next, not wanting to cooperate with him real well when we first got in here. We get her set up from the profile. That heifer's really neat up through her front. I like where she sets her neck there on the top side of her shoulder. She's really strong and level down her top. She too sets her tail head in there to close her spine really well. Center body in this heifer is really good. She's very uniform in terms of chest forward back to navel and flank. Maybe not quite as deep in terms of her heart shape down low as what we have in the heifer that came out of the first and second class, but a nice kind of heifer as well. And I like her in terms of foot and bone and soundness of skeleton as well. The older female, this is the rugged built female of the group that we have out here. As we talked about that one a while ago, really a powerful made female, maybe not as attractive up through her front 1/3, maybe a little longer in terms of her toe. You could use just a good hoof trimming probably and fix some of that, but it's wanting to make her set down there in her pasture and get just a little more coon-footed off those rear two, and we need to fix that in that female. In terms of a show heifer, just make a cow out of her, she's probably good in that regard. Nice lineup of heifers we have here. It gets pretty close for me, and I'm not going to tell you that there's one that just grabs it, runs away with it out here in this lineup, but I think as we study the females we have out here, one that probably brings herself together out here in the show ring and has the most look from the side, has some body, has some length, sound in her skeleton. We use the baby heifer on the far end to be your champion. Congratulations to her. We bring in a second place heifer out of that class, and I don't think it hurts her lineup at all. I really like this heifer from the surface, her foot size, her bone, how clean she is, her joints, how good bodied she is. That's an awfully nice heifer. That was a good pair of heifers in class. They're really, really close. As I told you, you flip a coin on that pair of heifers there, and so if you listened to me talk earlier, I like this one as good as I do the champion. This one will be reserved. Congratulations to her.
Your breed champion for the Beefmaster goes to Taylor Schmeller, and your reserve breed champion goes to Briley Schmeller.
Young man's got a single entry red Brangus female here. Really good bodied effort, sound in her skeleton, got a good rib shape to her. Sets her neck high enough on the top side of her shoulder there that give her enough look and attractiveness, and up to her front, really tall and elevated at the point of her shoulder as well. That'll get better as time goes on. Give him a nice hand. He's a single entry in this breed.
Your first place and breed champion in the Red Brangus division goes to Balin Kasurik.
Young lady's got a nice ABC heifer here. Can stand some competition. She's the only one in this breed, but I think that female's good up to her front. She's really long and extended from the point of her shoulder up and through her jaw there. You look at her down her top side of her body, sets her tail head in there to close her spine. Little hair coat and a little time as the fog sets in, change a lot of things in this heifer here because she's got some hair and spots and she's slick and spots and that kind of stuff. So those are out of whack. But that's a nice feminine made female that's good in her jawline, center part of her neck there. One thing I would caution is she's just a little bit greasier and fatter at this stage of her life, and so maybe lean her up just a tad bit. But beyond that, nice heifer here, this single entry in this class breed. Give this young lady a nice hand.
Your first place and breed champion in the ABC division is Kinley Wilson.
Well, I don't recall a whole lot from last year's show down here, but I do remember one thing is that one is the microphone system's in way better shape this year than it was last year. I will tell you that. So kudos to your directors over here and getting a good PA or mic system where it worked really well. So congratulations to them. But I remember the British show and having some I saw some Herefords trucking over here a while ago, and I remember a darn good British show. From the cattle here, and so that's about all I do remember about the show. But this is a darn good heifer here, and she starts off our British show in the right way. Angus female, single entry class breed, but there's not a whole lot you want to change in this one here. She, she may not be the most powerfully constructed Angus female, but what's wrong with her in the way that she's put together? She's sound in her feet and legs. She's really good looking up to her front. As I talked about this a while ago, where she sets her neck on the top side of her shoulder, that's what I'm talking about. That's the balance, that's the look, the symmetry she's got, the flex and ease she has in her spine is indicative of the way she can pick her feet up, set them down, her depth of heels, the way she's constructed out through her tail head, her hip, and her hock it down to the surface. Nice kind of heifer there. Give that young lady a nice hand. A single entry in this breed.
Your first place and breed champion in the Angus division goes to Hadley Howe.
Short marked, dark pigmented female here in our Horned Hereford show. Like some things about this heifer. Her soundness of skeleton probably is the thing that you like the most about her as she moves around there as she comes in the ring there. I like her depth of heel. I like her cleanness of her joints. Good bodied female, maybe a little more rugged out of her top side of her shoulders. She transitions into center spine, but I think that's one of those things there that, as I said a while ago, she's got some hair, she doesn't have some hair. Those are the kind of things there that fall brings on and changes their balance look for sure in that pair. But that is a tall fronted female. I do appreciate that about her. So congratulations to this young man. Again, a single entry in this class and breed.
Your first place and breed champion in the Horned Hereford division goes to Aubrey Lockhart.
we can't let the show go by without thanking our 2024 Burleson County Fair Queen and Little Miss, Miss Hadley Novosad and Miss Avery Freeman. They're helping hand out ribbons today, so thank y'all for y'all's help today also.
We'll use the younger of the two heifers in this class here to win the class. I think this heifer just simply better balanced from a side view profile where she sets her neck and the top side of her shoulder there, the way she transitions that into center spine, the roundness of her rib, the depth of her center body. Just a nice kind of female. It's more elevated in her front 1/3 than what the more powerful made female that's going to come second in class is. Heifer that's more powerfully constructed and made at the surface and through her bone and her foot size is the heifer that's second, but she doesn't fit together quite as nice. She wants to run downhill just a tad bit. She doesn't have quite that balanced and symmetrical look from a side view profile. Like to clean her up in her throat latch and down into her chest floor. She'll grow to a lot of that, but she's always going to be one that sets her neck more to the center part of her shoulder, doesn't have quite that extra added look up through her front third, and the show heifer that we have in our young man to my right here. So congratulations to both of you.
Results for your Polled Heifer Division Class 10. First place goes to Braxton Lockhart, and second goes to Aubrey Lockhart.
Well, pretty easy to describe the female. If you wanted to use just one single word to describe the heifer that'll win the class, she's just powerful. There's a lot of things that you can tie into and like. If you're a person that likes powerfully built cattle in terms of their foot, their bone, their body shape, their depth, the power they've got in regards to muscle. But at the same time, this one sets her neck on the top side of her shoulder. She's really extended up through the front third from her point of her shoulder out into her jaw. She's good in her jawline. She's got a little waddle there, but that's just typical of the female. There's no females. There's no doubt that she's really feminine about her front 1/3, and I appreciate that about this female. It's hard to make them that feminine, their front third, and give them that kind of power behind whenever you start putting all the pieces to the puzzle together. And I think this one does a pretty good job of that. She's a little ouchier, maybe just a nickel sore-footed out here. We had a recent foot trimming or something on her. Doesn't really want to get out and go for him, but there's not a problem in terms of skeleton in this heifer here. If we do say something wrong with the skeleton, maybe she sets her heel down just a little bit deeper than what is ideal. She's just a skosh more coon-footed, but I'd rather have them that way than I would to have them a little more posty in their hip and hock and down to the surface and shorten their pasturing line. So give and take in that heifer there as far as she moves off of her rear too. But from there, though, that female's awfully powerful. She's awfully good looking as well. So congratulations to him and a nice heifer. Young man's heifer that's going to come second, ultra feminine about her face and her head. She's long and extended up to her front. That heifer's just long spine, period. I do like that about her. She's one that's a little more elevated in terms of her tail head set. I don't particularly prefer that in regards to her balance and her symmetry from the side view profile. Where we got to change this female is she tilts her weight a little more to the front side of her body, being that she's deeper from top of shoulder down to chest floor. And as you transition her back to center rib and back into her flank, she wants to tilt up just a tad bit, a little higher and harder in her flank set, maybe just a little bit stiltier, a little more hammer-legged, if you will, in relation to our class winner for sure off of those rear two. But that heifer, again, is an ultra-feminine, long spine, really neat neck kind of heifer here that's going to come two in class. Give these young men a nice hand.
Results for your Polled Hereford Division Class 11. First place goes to Braxton Lockhart, and second place goes to Corbin Neindorf.
Just a note to the exhibitors, we will be doing showmanship at the conclusion of the Junior Breeding Heifer Show. So if you want to do showmanship, be sure to come back to the ring with your animals.
Nice pair of heifers here, and so we don't. I know these young men brought them all to me pretty much in the breed here. So the champion reserve are in the ring right now. We don't need to grab another one and everybody jump through hoops to get another one to the show ring. This will be your champion in reserve. I like both these heifers awfully well. I think they complement one another extremely well. One of them is just a stout, just a nickel more stout, a little more powerful at this stage. We'll see how this baby heifer comes on and grows, but that's an awfully good pair of heifers there. And so let's give these two young men a nice hand. Champions here, reserves there. Congratulations.
Results for your Polled Hereford Division. Your breed champion goes to Braxton Lockhart, and your reserve breed champion also goes to Braxton Lockhart.
Well, there's only two shorthorn heifers in the breed, so I brought them both in at the same time. They're both respective class winners, and about 4 or 5 months in age difference in this pair of heifers here. But from my perspective, a judge, we're hurrying. We're definitely not in a rush. We got plenty of time, but I just want to bring something in. It gives me a chance to compare one to the other when we're out here in the ring. We're going to have to do it anyway in the drive, so might as well bring them out here together and give the kids time to show them and that sort of thing. But I think as we compare one to the other here, I think the red female to my right, more predominantly red, that is, the young lady shows to my right, good heifer in standpoint of some balance and symmetry. I like her length up to her front, again, where she combines that extra added length with the placement of her neck there on the top side of her shoulder. She's elevated there at her shoulder as well, and so that gives her a better balanced look from a side view profile. Study her down into her chest floor, take her chest floor, balance her back to her navel and back into her flank and her udder. I think she balances good from a side view profile. Heifer that's got her tail head there and the close of her spine where it belongs. The best thing about both these heifers is for shorthorns, they're very sound and flexible. That breed struggles to make them sound, and both these heifers are sound. This heifer here that young lady circles around, maybe not the most pulled apart, right in her pin set, maybe give her just a skosh more width right in behind, and I think that's where the advantage goes to the roan heifer the young man shows that is going to be here to my left. You compare that female there, maybe she is just a little more rugged at the surface, her foot size and her bone. I think her length of body, probably she has the advantage in length of spine. I don't think she has the balance that the young lady's red heifer does. She doesn't fit together down the top side of her body quite as smooth and nice. She wants to set her tail head down in the close of her spine there just a little bit, maybe elevate it, bring it out in her just a tad bit. She's a little rougher as you transition her from chest floor through her heart to the center part of her rib shape and then back into her flank in relation to the young lady from here to my right. I think this boils down to simply in this breed here, the one that balances the best and has the best look from a side view profile. It is a show heifer, and so the one that takes the best picture wins the show. Young lady here to my right will be our champion. Young man will be reserved. Congratulations.
Results for your shorthorn division in Class 12 goes to Kaylee Simon, and then in Class 13 goes to Wyatt Russell. Your breed champion goes to Kaylee Simon, and your reserve breed champion goes to Wyatt Russell.
If you have a breed champion, you need to be making your way back to the staging area. We'll be doing champion reserve, grand and reserve champion overall here shortly. So start making your way back to the staging area for breed, if you were a breed champion.
limousine female, single entry here to close out our show in terms of our breeds and classes. That's a really good female. Stands lots of competition. It'd be neat to see her back out here with relation to some of the other champions we got out here. How tall and elevated, how she looks up through her front there, that clean throat line she gives you for a limousine type female. A good bodied heifer there that has a lot of positives about her. Maybe not the stoutest in terms of her feature, maybe a little funky or wonky there, cowhocked a little bit there on her rear too, but that's pretty picky on a nice female. That's a tremendous body shape and look up through her front third. Give him a nice hand.
Results for your limousine division goes to Jonathan Howe.
Nice single entry main female, really deep in terms of center body, sound on her feet and legs. For a Menanjou female, that depth of body and the spring to her rib are hard to get anymore. And so that's a nice female in that regard. Maybe just a little up in her spine there, center spine. Young lady's a nice job of trying to show that out of her and keep it out of her. But as you set her in motion, she wants to elevate just a little bit there, set her down, relax her in that regard to just make the perfect beast out of her. But nice kind of heifer there. Congratulations to her.
Results for your Menanjou division breed champion goes to Hadley Howe.
single entry in the ORB show. And again, I want to say apologize to these kids in these next three classes. I thought we were done in classes back on the limousine earlier. I thought that was kind of odd, but I misunderstood. So that's mine. I corrected. Don't want anybody to think I was just trying to buzz through here, because we got plenty of time. This heifer here, good bodied, got a great rib shape, a knee up through her front. Maybe not the most powerful, as you study her right out of her hip and hawk to the ground as some of the other females we've had. But from there forward, that's hard to get. That combination she's got, her length of spine, her depth of rib, the way she's pulled apart center body, and the way she stabs her neck there, the front side of her shoulder, or on top side of her shoulder, I guess I should say, and then how tight she is in her throat lats and look she gives you up through her front. Really ultra feminine and pretty in her face and her brow. So nice effort there, young lady Scott. Congratulations to her. Give her a nice hand.
Results for your ORB division, your breed champion goes to Kennedy Howe.
Good rib, good bodied kind of heifer here. I like her shoulders back. I like that one pretty good. She's flexible off her rear too. She's got her tail head there. It fits nicely in terms of her balance there. She balances good for an American type of heifer. Her chest floor into her navel and back into her udder. That extra added skin down in her flank there. So a lot of good things about that female. Where you fix her is she's a little more upright in her front third. She's a little more bent over at her knee just a tad there at the stand. And we'd fix that in that female. Set her back in her shoulder blade design and make her knee just a little more different in its configuration out of her front third. But from what I said, from her shoulders back, like that one pretty good. Give this young lady a nice hand.
Your results for the AOB division, your breed champion goes to Blake Lozano.
Bear with us a few minutes as they line up their champions from each division, each breed, so we can have the judge choose a champion overall.
Walking in the ring is your champion Beefmaster, Taylor Schmeller. Your champion Red Brangus goes to Balin Kasurik. Your champion ABC goes to Kinley Wilson. Your champion Angus went to Hadley Howe. Champion Horn Hereford, Aubrey Lockhart. Champion Polled Hereford, Braxton Lockhart. Champion Shorthorn went to Kaylee Simon. Champion Limousine went to Jonathan Howe. Champion Maine, Hadley Howe. Champion ORB, Kennedy Howe. And your champion AOB, Blake Lozano.
Well, as we come to the close of our Heifer show, we'll have some showmanship still to do, but close of the Heifer show here. We've finished our classes, pick our champion and reserve of your county fair, and it's been a pleasure for me to be back for the second year here to work with you young people. As I said earlier, I remembered some really good British cattle coming through there last year, and we had some really good British again this year as well. But without any other comments in regards to cattle, I want to say thank you to the show management that put on the show here. And as I said, the microphone system last year was a little challenging, and we've got that problem sorted out this year. So congratulations to you and getting that fixed here at your county fair. The other thing I failed to say a while ago that I do remember about last year's show is quite possibly the hottest picture backdrop location ever in in the history of livestock shows is over here in this barn. So we're going to go over there in a minute and take some pictures. Hopefully the photographer's fast over there because it does get warm over there in that corner. But it is a pleasure for me to be here and to work with these young people and sort through the cattle this morning. We didn't have a tremendous amount of numbers, but in terms of quality, we had some really good, high-quality heifers that I know are competitive at major shows and will be competitive at major shows. You know, I'd be lying to you if I tell you that when I come to judge a show, I don't know any of the kids that are at the show. That goes without saying. You know who some of the kids are. You recognize the faces of some of the people pushing them in the ring, that kind of thing. Keep everything in perspective when you judge a show and just pick the best one out there in your mind, and everything is all good. But I knew coming down that we would see some really good cattle and some of the families that are in this area, in this county, that show competitively on the major show level and not just here at the county fair. So just know that what I'm getting at is that when you go on down the road here, from your county's perspective, you're very well represented at the major stock show level by some of these people. So if you will, folks, give these kids a nice hand here in this ring for champion and reserve. I think for me, as I studied the heifers through the classes and the breeds, I'm not going to go back and describe any of the heifers again to you. What I am going to tell you is it boils down to basically a 3-horse race. And in that 3 horses, one of them comes out of the Angus division, the Polled Hereford division, and then the Limousine division. I think all of these heifers are truly outstanding individuals. They've got for their breeds and the way they're put together, just awfully good. We only picked 2 of them out here today. We've got a lineup of what our reserves were over there. We didn't have a lot of numbers, and so we have some reserves on the far ring. But the champion reserve will come out of this front line here, and it boils down to those 3 heifers. Problem is there's an odd man out, and that's the hard thing to do from a judging perspective, is leave somebody standing at the end of the day that deserves to be mentioned. But I will tell you that I will mention that I think that Limousine heifer is the one that'll be left out. But I do think that heifer is awfully competitive. She's awfully good. You get her and her breed on down the road, and that young man's going to have a lot of success with her. So if you will, give that young man a nice hand for his basically 3rd overall heifer that we've got here. I think for me, then, it boils down to these 2 British heifers. And as I said, I remember the British show being really good here last year and having some really high-quality individuals in it. And so congratulations to both of you. The way I see them today out here, Angus heifer's pretty flawless. She'll be your champion. This Polled Hereford be reserved. Congratulations to all of you in the heifer show.
Your champion breeding heifer goes to Hadley Howe, and your reserve champion breeding heifer goes to Braxton Lockhart. If you are wanting to participate in showmanship, please start lining up in the holding area. We will start with our juniors for showmanship, so that will be 3rd through 5th graders.
While everybody's getting lined up to come in for showmanship, I want to recognize our junior breeding beef heifer sponsors for our grand champion, reserve champion buckles, as well as for our showmanship buckles. We have Somerville overall lumber of Somerville. Mr. Kenny and Miss Melissa Tharp are great supporters of the fair. Reserve champion buckle will be sponsored by Germania Insurance, Jake's Insurance here in Caldwell. Mr. Victor Mendez, Back Porch Antiques, and Burleson County Saddle Club. And then we also have some awesome grand champion and reserve champion banners that were handed out, and those are all sponsored by the Russell Binke family. So let's be sure and give all of our sponsors and thank our sponsors throughout the year as you see those for supporting the youth of the Burleson County. So we'll give them a few minutes more to get lined up, and we'll start our junior showmanship.
Water?
Yes. Go get him a bottle of water real quick. I forgot to bring some.
Can I get one out of your
Yes.
car?
No.
I mean, why?
Go to the office and get him some cold. Hurry. Hey. Hey. We will be taking pictures at the backdrop of any breed champions and then showmanship winners. So please be sure to make your way to the backdrop where we'll have somebody with the photography there to take pictures for you. And remember to go online to view any of those pictures at Jeffrey's Marketing online.
Well, in our junior division here, I think all these kids do a nice job at showing. The main thing in the juniors is we can keep our cattle moving, we can keep their head up, and halfway keep their feet square under them, and those kind of things. And we got something to build on as we go on down the road. I think you teach a kid a lot by control of the head and control at the halter that controls the rest of the body of the animal. And so you can tell there's some practice going on at home in the practice pen with these juniors here. And I think there's one individual individual, though, that just, as I watched them, make them circle around, I watched them, every one of them, as they came to a stop and how they controlled their heifer and what they did with the halter before they ever touched a foot, or if they ever had to touch a foot. That's something also that you keep in mind. And then their poise and how they go about their business, and they're slow and methodical and everything they do. And so that's really good. And I appreciate all of you from that standpoint. I think the young man that ended up reserve our show a while ago probably does the best job out here in this group. So congratulations to him. He'll be your junior showmanship winner.
Good job. Our junior showmanship was Braxton Lockhart.
We'll give our intermediates a nice hand here in the showmanship intermediate division. In a showmanship contest, it's one of those things that you play the hand you're dealt from the exhibitor standpoint as well. You may be the best, most experienced showman there is, but every dog has their day, and at some point, you're always going to have that animal that doesn't want to cooperate, doesn't want to do what you want them to do, especially in the heifer show. Some of them are coming into heat or something like that, and they don't want to cooperate, and it always ends up right at the county fair time or right when the showmanship contest is fixing to take place or happen, and that's where you have these issues. And so how you overcome those issues and how you fight through it, that's what means the most as far as I'm concerned, and what a good showman is, not the one that can go out there and truly just show the animal. There's a lot of things that go into that. And so when you study that from a judge perspective, you watch these kids and you can tell the things that take place at home and how they know what to do with their animals, how the animal reacts to them, that sort of thing. It's really easy to pick up on a strange animal and a strange kid and those kind of things whenever you judge shows. When they get back out there and they don't know one another because that animal doesn't react as well to that exhibitor. And so there's a lot of variables that go into that. I'm not saying that's going on here at all. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is you just pick up on a lot of things, and then as you combine all the adversities that can go on at a show ring with the way to how does that exhibitor react to those? Do they stay collected? Do they stay poised? Do they get in a hurry? Do they try and push things faster than they need to? Or are they just slow and methodical, like I said a while ago? And the slower you go and the more methodical you are about it, the better that animal's going to react to it. There's no doubt. They get all amped up as well, and especially if you got one that's just like a kid. There's ADD. It goes on in cattle too. I guarantee you, there's some of them I swear are bipolar also, because they can flip their switch as quick as anything, and they go from the best one to a man killer all at one time. So a lot of things that go into that, and so from a judge perspective, I keep all those things in mind as a judge a show or a showmanship show. I've said many times, you know me, I don't like having to judge showmanship. Comes along with the deal, because when you start judging showmanship, you're starting to critique kids, and kids are critiqued enough this day and age, and it's hard to for me to go out and be a critic of a kid that's trying. I know they're trying their hardest, because you can tell, and some of them over try. That's just how it is. It's part of being a human. But showmanship is really tough to judge. I'd a whole lot rather judge cattle as I had judged kids. And when you get to showmanship, you have to judge some kids and then pull out some flaws or some things that showmen do. So hopefully what I said here has been constructive. It's very generic. I haven't pointed at anyone or any kind of animal or anything, just some things that I pick up on in watching our showmen out here. So without any further comments, I think it's pretty close. There's 3 showmen out here that actually do a pretty good job. I think one of them probably just a little more collected than the others, and would be that as I say that, Heifer decides to move. This young lady right here does a nice job. She'll be your winner. Congratulations to her.
Our champion showman today was Miss Kennedy Howe for our intermediates.
as we get back in their senior showmanship. I think both our showmen do a really good job. I will say I commend this young man because he's not going to win today, but as I said, he's got a show stick and a knife fight here because our young lady Heifer's not knowing to cooperate, but she does a really good job. She can get flat, get one shown, and she does a lot of the good things. So if you got a junior kid, intermediate that wants to learn how to show one, get with this young lady here, watch her show one of them. She does a nice job in presentation. Give her a nice hand. Give this young man a nice hand also. Thank y'all for having me. And that is everything I need to do, right?
Yes, sir, that is. Yes. And our senior showmanship today was Miss Hadley Howe. Again, if y'all can make your way to the backdrop for pictures, if you had showmanship, champions, or champions overall, we appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Wade Shackelford, for your help today.
You got a new microphone, and is that your backdrop now?
Well, I had planned on it. The photographer said it's not big enough. But I did move the backdrop from up there.
Oh, you did?
It's on the same row, but it's closer, and there's a